Avis Hekking is one of those authors who publishes 1 or 2 books in a short time span and then is never heard from again. So much so that it took some digging by Steve from Bear Alley to uncover her basic life dates, but also to determine whether the author was the mother or the daughter bearing the same name. Avis Hekking was born in 1877 or 1878 in Jersey in the Channel Islands, daughter of Johannes Antonius Hekking and Avis Selina Clark. She studied art in Paris and died in 1945 in Ringwood, Hampshire. She wrote 2 books, the 1907 The Search for Jahan, concerning the massacre of the Huguenots, and the book we shall review today, her 1908 A King of Mars, a book that is only ever referenced because of a tangential possibility that it may have had an influence on Burroughs. The novel is often erroneously described as a story of communication being established between the Earth and Mars. That doesn't really happen. Instead, after a prologue where the author claims the story was dictated to her by off-world spirits using a planchette and is thus 100% real, we have 2 artists stumble about the Welsh countryside until they trip over a sphere that contains a message from Mars, detailing the story of the novel. No further messages are sent, and despite a single reference to the Martians watching the Earth with a giant telescope, they don't seem to really care about the Earth at all. The story is the narrative of Belo, former slave and handmaiden to Umclu the Wise, King of Mars. One day she is nervous about the coming to court of Zarma, a governor of distant Vala, and a handsome man whom she loves from afar, and due to a prophecy that she should save the life of a king of Mars. Umclu gently mocks her for this, but then one of his nobles named Anaira would use a city-leveling handgun the whole King's Guard is allowed to carry for some reason, to kill Zarma and everyone else because he was reminded of how he toyed with a slave girl and then abandoned her, so she killed herself. Apparently he did this by dressing up as a peasant and working at a fishing company for seemingly no reason, and in stark contrast to his usual order of superiority and arrogance. Belo saves the king and Anaira is exiled to the Black Country, called that because of how it looks, not because of who lives there. Also, Belo is given to Zarma and the 2 fly to Vala in an airship, but they are forced to land in the dreaded Black Country, the place of banishment for criminals, and the scene of the bleak country and the swarms of prisoners flocking the landing stage to besiege the airship is quite well done. Zarma and Belo are forced to land here, and Anaira steals the airship and flees to take over Vala in his place, saying the king had Zarma put to death to rally up the population in his favour, with the help of an exiled priest named Sido, who possesses visionary and hypnotic powers. They go to Vala in disguise and go with Anaira as he takes over the capital city of Serva to become King of Mars. But the people soon grow weary, while Belo, pretending to be Zarma's wife, is wooed by Anaira himself. But after going through several disguises, she helps the population rise up, and then escapes with Zarma thanks to the powers of the immortal prophet Visaya, and is then loved by Zarma in return, as Anaira dies off screen thanks to a lightning strike.